Hello and welcome to back to Tuesdays with Tara at 2 Central Time. Today I want to talk to you about authenticity. Many of us are wondering what's next in our life. There's this time of uncertainty. There's this, there can even be a panic and anxiety that comes from within of not knowing what's going to happen with our income levels, what's going to happen in our relationships. And I want to talk to you about how authenticity can make such a difference in all aspects of your life. And when you don't have it, it can actually hold you back from higher levels of success and higher levels of fulfillment in relationships. So success in your careers and fulfillment in relationships. So that's why it's really important to understand authenticity. And I just want to be like really direct and open and honest, because that's how I am, that hi, I can't see who it is though. I'm using this new program and I can't tell who's popping up, unfortunately. With us, when many of us are not accustomed to being as authentic as we choose to be or as we'd like to be, simply because our background, our experience in life, and even all the way back from childhood, we were actually taught not to be. So we were sharing what we really wanted, being open and honest, and our mother, our father, our uncle, our teacher, someone said, hush up, you can't say that. That's not right. Right. So we were told, I better do it the way I'm supposed to do it. And then we learned to really act accordingly to norms and expectations rather than what's in our heart. So this becomes a pattern for how you actually live your life and how you choose your careers, how you choose your partners, how you show up in relationships. Like, what do people really expect of me? And I'll do that because then I'll be the good girl, be accepted, or I'll even be loved because this is how I'm supposed to do things. So I'll do things that way, right? But what happens is you actually secretly can lose some confidence within yourself. And that can show up when you're trying to, let's say in my business, like, or in any kind of sales, like get another client or follow a path that you really want to be on. Because there's less like confidence within, like you might even hide it really well. Maybe everyone else would think you're this confident person in the world, but to really step forward as the real is, can be really hard. Really hard because it's like going against everything we've been taught. And then in life, you might sometimes think that you have to weigh for everything and make a decision about what is right. Like, where should I be living next? What career should I go next? What difference can I talk to other people about it? I love talking to people if they're the right people and if they're not giving you the answers. That's right. You're not giving you the answers, because what happens is everyone else in your life gives you this opinion, and it's not that their opinion isn't from the heart and it's not a great idea, but it's probably a better idea for them than for you, because you lose like what was in your heart to begin with. You lose and you become less connected to the higher sense of you, which is sometimes the higher self, the source connection. You like some of that because you have all these voices in your head and opinions and what everyone else thinks, and you become very uncertain, less grounded, and less decisive in how you want to move forward, right? And this is a big deal because it can catapult into how your career shows up again and again, over like day after day, month after year after year. Like years of your life can end up being this way, right? So here's the deal. I have the answer for you, though. That's what's really exciting about this this post. So it's just simply this living with your truth, living your truth. So when your brain has been trained to think a certain way for so long, probably since, childhood, or, you continue to grow in school and in whatever environment you were exposed to, you were usually steered another path saying, no, that's wrong. No, you shouldn't. So again, we stop our authenticity. So how do you get back to that, right? How do you get back to that? Because it's so understandable. You have to actually go back to the life that this happened to you and recognize what it was like for you in this and how you really felt. Like you have to, it's connecting really with the inner child. It's connect force, and it's taking the time to know yourself on a deeper level, like know thyself. It's this deep level discovery. This can be done in meditation, in journaling. These are all great ways. Working with a therapist, working with a coach, and being really honest with yourself about what's working in your life and what isn't working. Like instead of putting on the happy face, like, oh yeah, that's fine, right? Because that's when we tend to drop our boundaries as well. So having strong boundaries, crystal clear, will actually give you more strength to show up in your business with authenticity, to show up in your relationships as real. Like when you feel a little take happens, like you might get resentful, right? Even if it's like you don't want to, you don't mean to, you're just like, it's fine. But you know, later on it comes out, like it's always there. We can't hide it. So super important to do the work to go within and recognize that your whole life shifts and opens up for you when you do connect with your higher self, with this source within, with this authentic you. The authentic you. I was a prime example. So I'll share, maybe that will help. I'll share to demonstrate my point here. I'll share my story. I was really told that I shouldn't follow my heart. I wanted to go into acting, and I wanted to move to California, and I wanted to be on shows. That was another thing. Acting, I was just really into that, and I was told like, no, that makes no sense. Go into business, and so I did. I changed, my college major, and I was going to go to law school then. Like business law was what I thought was right. It didn't rest so much that there was a person even listening to that would like not allow me to do it. So I ended up not going to law school, doing my acting and theater that I wanted to do in college. And I moved to Colorado and I was a bartender. Now, granted, I had a great time and then I traveled around Europe and I had another great experience. So there's no regrets in that, except to learn that there was part of me that I couldn't ignore no matter what everyone else was saying, right? And then it happened again as I was in corporate America and climbing the corporate ladder. I was doing really well on the outside. I was, making multiple six figures, and I was a top salesperson in my company for a while, and it looked really good, like really successful on the outside. But I knew that in the inside, like my life was not my own. I was living someone else's life. I was living the life that other people had chose for me, telling me this is how you should live, and this is what looks good, and this is what makes sense. So I left again, and I went, traveled around the world, and I was really, what I was in search of, and I didn't realize at the time, was really just me. It's really just connecting with me. And I realized that I was not living my truth. And that's why now I stand for people to step into their truth, because it is the key to loving your life. It is the key to manifesting the life you desire. And the reason I say that is because you can't manifest the life that you deeply yearn for if you can't even face what that life is. You can't even figure it out, right? And by the way, if you can't, that's okay. It's understandable. Again, everyone in your life has always been telling you what you should do. And of course, you've been listening because they're people that you love and respect, and mentors, and people that you worked for, or parents, or best friends, or partners, spouses. Everyone else knows. But here's the thing. No soul possibly know what's right for another person's soul. There's no way anyone else can tune into you, really what your path is, what your journey is meant to be. The only way you can know this is by going within. And this is really the work that I guide people to do in my manifestation masterminds and in my coaching programs, because I don't have the answers. I don't have all the answers for you. The one thing that I've been trained in, and possibly given, if I could say that, has been guide people back to themselves, guide people back to listening to their heart, to quiet all those voices and to retrain the brain. And it's also a path to more positive thinking, because what happens is that there's so many judgments on yourself. You can place judgments on yourself for being who you authentically are, because everyone, again, as I always told you, you shouldn't be this way, right? So if for so long you know that deep down you have these other thoughts or these other desires in your life, but you think you shouldn't and you don't tell anyone, or you like squash them down, they're still there. They're still there, like tugging at you, like the little girl like tugging at your sweater, right? Like she's there all the time. And if you don't pay attention to that little girl tugging at your sweater, her voice will get louder and louder, and then you're like, shush. So maybe she's quiet for a while, but it's still there. And that's a part of you that is actually suffering. So this is why I'm so passionate about authenticity, because there is another way. You know, this part of you that's suffering will show up in the form of addictive behaviors, in the form of unhealthy actions that are harmful to you or to other people. Of course, never on purpose, but it's understandable how this occurs, because there's a part of you that's like in your heart that's always been there, that just wants to be heard. So this acts out. And then you might question yourself, like, well, why would I act that way? Why would I do that? That's not who I am. That's not who I am. Because there is this part of you that wants attention. So they're going to do it. Think of a little girl again, or a little boy, whatever. They'll do it to get your attention, including acting out in unhealthy, addictive, or harmful behaviors. It can show up in anything. It can show up in anything you do. It can be shopping too much. It could be, overspending your money. It's anything to try to escape what's real. Again, real, authentic, kind of the same thing. So we do a lot of, we take actions in our life that are to quiet these voices in our head that want to be heard. So really important if you want to make a change in your life, that you have to tune into self and listen and acknowledge all parts of you. Because all parts of you are beautiful. Like there is no judgment from self. You have to give yourself that like love and acceptance to start. And this is how you actually create a life that you want to live, not a life that you want to escape from. And this is how you will make decisions that are in alignment with your soul calling. This is how you will get clarity on what you want to manifest. Then you can pivot accordingly to support a path that leads you to where you ultimately want to go. So with that, I'm going to conclude Tuesdays with Tara and say, if you're looking for some support in this, we do have a 90-day program that is going on right now. And it's a short-term, actually if there's 10 weeks left, you can do the full 90 days. So of an experience of magical manifesting. If that's something that you're interested in, please do send me a message or click on the link that I will post here, so you can see a little more about that. I also have a yoga teacher training. It's an amazing opportunity to go within, and you can get your yoga certification. When things open up, we're going to get together and stay on a peninsula up here in northern Wisconsin in the woods and eat healthy vegetarian food, and you will get certified in yoga. But in the meantime, we are doing connection Zoom appointments online, so that you can start doing like weekly immersion assignments, like connecting with everyone. And yoga is a great discovery to go deeper within when you apply it to your own life. And lastly, I'd say join me on Saturday. I'm doing a detoxify your life yoga asana class, followed by a discussion and workshop, and that will be held on Zoom. So if that's something you're interested in, check that out. You guys can send me a message for any of these things if you should. And thanks so much for joining. And yeah, give yourself permission to be who you really are, and know that there's nothing wrong with you as you are, and a little deeper into that. and to just make this decision that you're never going to not live your truth again from this moment forward. Let it be known that your truth and you are worthy and deserving of the most beautiful, amazing, successful, healthy, and loving, joyous life. So with that, I'm signing out. Thank you for joining Tuesdays with Tara, and I'll see you again next week.